Hi everyone, this is Storytime with Checkers and Jingle here, and tonight I will be doing a reaction video. Normally I don't do any reaction videos, but ever since I saw this video, where Abbey Romero, or whatever her name was, so when this user named Abbey, who talked about autism, I was really touched by her story, and I felt like, oh god, I didn't know she was going through the same thing as I was, except the two of us have different things. Like, yes, we both have autism, but my autism is different, as I have higher functioning autism, but I also had anxiety and depression. So, ever since seeing that video, I'm like, oh my god, that is so terrible that she had to experience all the negative encounters that she had. So, anyways, before I start, Abby, if you are watching this, thank you so much for this nice video. That is very nice. I know it's really hard having a disability. It's hard for me too, as a 27-year-old, because I'm autistic too, and of course, I also have severe anxiety and moderately severe depression. So, I know what it's like going through a disability. So, the credit goes to Story Booth, and also credit goes to Abby as well. So I just want to give credit to both of the users. So anyways, let's get on with this, shall we? Excuse me for a minute. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I had to turn up the volume a little bit so I can hear.
Hi, I am Abby. I was diagnosed with autism at age 2.5.
Oh, wow. I actually had autism too. I was actually diagnosed with autism since 2000, whenever I was like 2.5 or 3 years old. I don't remember, but I kind of have the similarity except different. So I'm not sure whether I was like 2.5 or 3 years old, but I can relate to this. Anyways, back to the story.
Life with autism has been very hard.
I know, Abby, I know how you feel. I have autism too, and it's really hard for me too. But what's even more hard is my anxiety and depression, so I know what it's like having autism.
I want to start by telling you what it was like when I was younger. When I was 3 years old, I had something called echolalia.
Don't worry, Abby. Even though you have the echolalia, I still accept you for who you are, and you are a great person. Anyways.
Where you have no connection to words and just repeat things you hear. One day, my mom asked me, "What would you like for lunch, hot dogs or peanut butter?" And I said, "Hot dogs or peanut butter." Then I went to school and I didn't talk to the other kids because I didn't know how. And I sat alone. It was almost like I didn't see them because of the way my mind worked. And I put everything in my mouth. They called my mom up and said they couldn't guarantee my safety. So I was not allowed to go to preschool unless I had an aide. I had a teacher named Miss Beverly. She didn't understand autism. She didn't want to learn about autism.
Wow, that is disability discrimination right here. Like, that is disability discrimination. Like, wow, the teacher doesn't know about autism, plus she didn't want to hear all about autism. Like, wow. Just wow. That is discrimination. That is discriminating against ADA. Anyways, let's see what happens next.
And wasn't willing to learn about how some kids like me are different.
Once again, disability discrimination. Wow. She really needs to learn about autism and learn what it's like having that disability. Like, wow. How terrible of Miss Beverly. Wow. Just wow. How really mean and discriminative she is. Like, wow, that is disability discrimination. That is discrimination against autistic people or anyone that has a disability. Anyways.
We learn different, we hear things differently, and sometimes we have to move around a lot.
So I have to agree with you, Abby, on this one, except my case is different. Yes, I do learn differently too. I hear differently too as well, and sometimes I need to move around too because I do get a little fidgety, so I know what it's like. I can relate to that problem of yours. So I do get a little fidgety and of course a little anxious and behave differently. So I know what it's like, Abby.
Miss Beverly wanted things the way she had always done them. Like, for example, Miss Beverly would ask the kids to line up. She had all the girls line up, then all the boys, and then at the end of the boy line, she made me line up with my aide because I was different.
Oh, wow. Again, just wow. That was a dumb move. She should have been at the girls' line, not the dang boys' line. Just wow. Wow, just wow.
This made me feel uncomfortable and very sad.
Oh my god, I am so sorry to hear that.
Feeling like I don't fit in, feeling left out and wishing I was like everyone else. And I wish my brain would do what I was telling it to do.
I can relate to that problem of yours, Abby. Like, sometimes my brain acts differently too with my anxiety, and sometimes I feel like that I'm not a part of everyone's world because I'm just a different human being. I'm just a different human being with all three disabilities, and sometimes I feel like nobody's going to like me just because I'm so different. Like, I get it, I have autism and stuff like that, but that doesn't mean that I'm a terrible person. Anyways, back to the story.
In elementary school, I was more aware of the other kids and that I was different. It was hard to talk to the other kids because I couldn't get the words out.
Oh my god. Oh my. I can relate to that too, Abby. I'm so sorry about that. Sometimes I say things or I forget to say things too. Like, for example, sometimes I do something without thinking or saying something without thinking as well because of my disability. And sometimes it's hard for me to think because, again, I don't always think since I have a lot of strong feelings, and sometimes I forget the words too. Like, I'm just like, oh, what if I accidentally say something that hurts someone, or oh, what if nobody likes me? Sorry. I sometimes feel like, oh, what if somebody does not like me because I'm so different? Like, I can relate to that too, Abby.
Sometimes my words would get stuck, and then the other kids didn't want to talk to me because I couldn't answer, and I had a hard time focusing and staying on topic. This made me very sad, and I became jealous of typical kids because they could do things that I couldn't. This is when I learned to identify with Ariel.
Oh wow, that's awesome. That is so awesome that you identify with Ariel from The Little Mermaid. I've seen The Little Mermaid too, so before I get to that scene, yes, I've seen Little Mermaid too. I've seen the 1989 version, plus I also saw the 2023 version, so I've seen the movie before, but personally, I think I like the 1989 version better than the 2023 version. But if you disagree with me, opinion handled, because I prefer the 1989 version. So that's good that this character helped you with something, Abby. Because like I said, even that I do like Little Mermaid, I still like Pokemon and Paw Patrol and Bluey. Like I said, I did like the character from The Little Mermaid, which is the dog named Max. So I can relate what's going on with you, Abby, because again, I'm an autistic person myself. Anyways, back to the story.
Ariel was a mermaid living in a world alone. She wanted to be with the people, and when she finally became human, she couldn't talk. That's how I felt.
I can relate to that problem too. Like, sometimes I forget to say something because I'm just afraid people may not understand me. Because sometimes I forget to, I sometimes forget to look at others because sometimes when people try to talk to me, I don't give any eye contact. It doesn't mean that I don't like people. Some people might think, oh, it's so rude. You need to give an eye contact, yada, yada, yada. But it's not really easy because, like I said, sometimes I don't look at the person while they're talking because of my autism and how I behave differently too. So sometimes I forget to say something too, which is why sometimes I refuse to speak because I don't know if my words are going to hurt someone or if they're going to help someone because I do have problems with learning how to think before doing something since I have like really extreme strong feelings. So I can relate to that. Anyways, back to the video.
I felt very isolated and alone.
I can understand that too. I was isolated and alone too as a result of the bullying because people were bullying me and they were making fun of me just because I'm autistic and, of course, a person who has anxiety and depression. Like, I can relate to that too because I was isolated by a lot of people online because people were like harassing me and they were not accepting me for who I am. So I can relate to your problem, Abby.
That is why mermaids and Ariel are still important to me today. Ariel says, I want to be where the people are. And she says, I want to be part of that world.
I gotta say, that song is really great. Really good. And way to go, Abby. Woo! Good job on that song. Proud of ya. So, I can relate to that song too, because I want to be part of everyone's world too, because after all, I do deserve some friends. Anyways, back to the video.
This was exactly how I felt too.
Aw, that's nice.
Finally, something that made me feel connected to the outside world. I felt like I was Ariel.
Oh, that's awesome.
Today, I have had 22 years of speech therapy and social skills to learn to have conversations today, and I never gave up. When I think back about those times, it makes me remember how alone I was and how I was not part of the world.
I can relate to that too, Abby. Like I said, as an autistic myself with anxiety, depression, I've been getting all the help that I've been needing to with my autism. Like, I've been learning a lot from crisis support services as they've been teaching me some better coping methods and how to find better solutions for the problem instead of doing some negative consequences. Because I know, yes, negativity can hurt other people, not just myself. So I can relate to that journey too. Anyways.
I have to remember who I am today. It's like when Mufasa says to Simba, remember who you are.
And I have to agree with you and Mufasa the lion. So I have to agree too. Like, even though I used to not like the Lion King, but nowadays I'm starting to lose hatred on Lion King because, like I said, ever since I saw the movie, I think it's a great movie in my opinion. And of course, I will always remember of who I am. Like, yes, I may get grumpy sometimes, I may get upset, I may feel nervous sometimes, but it doesn't mean that I'm bad. Like, just because I have a disability and I have feelings doesn't mean that I'm a terrible person. Like, I know there's some people who appreciate me for who I am, like my friends in real life, and of course my loving boyfriend Rohan and my family. I'm very happy that I have people in real life that accept me for who I am, who always appreciate me for who I am. Like, that's all I've wanted. So yeah, before I start off with the next clip, I want to say R.I.P. to James Earl Jones. As you guys may not know, James passed away last year. He was a voice for Mufasa, and it was really sad. So again, James, if you're listening to this in heaven, may you rest in peace. You were a really good actor for Mufasa on The Lion King. We will never forget you. Anyways, back to the video.
I can't think of anything that means more to me than feeling like part of this world. Without friends, you really can't do that. And just because some people need to practice more than others, that's okay. We are all different.
And I have to agree with you on that, Abby. I have to agree with you on that statement that you said. Because like I said, we're all human beings and we should all be treated equally and be accepted for who we are. Like, whether it's somebody who has autism like myself or somebody who has OCD, anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder, or schizophrenia, or any other disabilities. Like, we should all be accepted for who we are, whether we have something that helps us, whether it's like a service dog or a cane if you're blind, or those hearing thingies that deaf people have for their ears. Like, anyone that has a disability, like a wheelchair or something like that, we should all be accepted for who we are. Even people who have PTSD, like my father and my grandmother. Like, my dad and my grandmother have PTSD, and I still accept them for who they are, even though my dad has dyslexia and type 2 diabetes, while my grandma has diabetes as well. And even though I have a disability, like for example autism, anxiety, and depression, I'm still a person who will always be special only to my family and friends, only to my family and friends and my boyfriend. And of course, I may get anxious at times, but it doesn't mean that I'm bad. I just have like a lot of feelings inside. So it's a really good statement that you said, Abby, because like I said, I have to agree with you on this. We are all human beings and we should be accepted for who we are, even if we have a disability, because, again, we are all different in many ways, and we should accept ourselves for who we are and respect ourselves too, and respect people too who have a disability as well, because, after all, everyone deserves respect and everyone deserves to be treated nicely. Anyways, let's get back to the video. So, looks like that's the end of it. So, that's all I have to say for this video. So, before I end it, I just want to say, Abby, if you are watching this or listening to this, really good job on this video. I'm really happy that you made this video, for anyone who has a disability like myself, because again, I have autism, anxiety, and depression, and I've been lonely through my life as well, even though I have some friends, but I hardly have some time to hang out with them, because like I said, with my disability, it's been very difficult. So I'm really touched by your story, so thank you so much, Abby, for uploading this. This is a really, really nice story that you did, and I can relate to you for having autism as well, because I'm autistic myself and I'm actually 27 years old with anxiety and depression. So even though I do have autism and 2 psychiatric disabilities, like I said again, I have to agree with you on that one. It doesn't mean that we're bad. We are all human beings and we should all be treated equally with respect and kindness, and just accept others for who they are. So yeah, so that's all I have to say. This is Storytime with Checkers and Jingle signing off. Bye guys.